but I'm just getting started. Got my eyes on the target. No, no. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. I'll never run. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. They say I'm dangerous 'cause I broke all the cages. No, I won't sit and take it. No, no. They left me for dead, I guess I'll never learn. Every time I break, there's just more pain to burn. They'll never, never, never learn. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. I'll never run. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty.
After a chaotic week last week, we return to racing action here tonight on Wednesday night. And it's the return of the Endurance for Amateur Series as we head east or west, depending on which side of the Americas you are on, as we head to Japan and the Twin Ring Motegi for the first time in A4A existence. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sam Cooper Bennett here for Pony Express Sim Racing. I did get the name right this week as we get ready to go racing for another 100 minutes here on this channel. And joining me in the booth once again is my partner in crime, Mr. Byron Rodney. And Byron, first time at this track in the league's history. This is going to make for some interesting racing tonight.
Yeah, we're going to find out exactly how much practice these guys put in this week here at the Twin Ring. In Japan, we're looking at a track just a hair under 3 miles in length, 14 turns. And, you know, from the race we had last week with the LMP2s, which aren't here anymore, we need to talk about that. But this track has its own set of difficulties because you still really don't get a break. It's got a, wider. It's going to be a little more lenient for passing. It's got some slower corners, but it is its own animal, all in the same.
That it is, and you touched on it right there, Byron. A new rule after last week. We no longer have the LMP2 class. That has been scrapped after what was a chaotic first introduction for that class, and we've gone back to the original format from season 1 and season 2, just straight up GTE and GT3 action.
Yep, and I love it. It's a little easier on us to keep track of it. The GTEs are going to be the faster car. They got a little more horsepower, but the GT3s, they're pretty dang nimble, if you ask me. They can corner pretty darn hard and dive it deeper into the corner, but we're still going to get some overtaking in here. Things are going to be mixed up. And Sam, just like every time that we broadcast this league in every series, it gets all stretched out. You think it's going to be a boring finish, but nope, they come through in the end, and we get an exciting one.
That we do. As we are looking out on track right now, it's not quite dark out there at the moment. It's actually looking like sunset. So not too dark out there at the moment, but from what I've been told, it will be nighttime once we go racing. So that's another thing that these guys have got to deal with here tonight. Those nighttime conditions can really be tricky once they get into it.
Yeah, track's going to tighten up. They're not, they're going to find more grip on a colder track, but it is a lighted track. You got lights around the track. You're going to see the headlights shining on the cars, but it brings a whole new dynamic to it when we're racing in the dark, and especially when we make that transition as that track starts cooling off and cooling off. Tires, I don't think they're going to be an issue. From what I understand in the pre-race meeting, listening to the drivers, we're going to run shorter fuel tanks, so we're looking for 2 stops out of this thing on fuel, and whether they take tires, there's going to be the strategy. Do you take them on your first stop? Do you take them on your second stop? Or are you going to try and triple stint them? It's going to be how these cars handle and how twitchy they get around this track.
Now, we just saw Doug Buchanan just make a dive for pit road. Now, I'm not sure how much you've raced around this track, but the pit entry into this on this track is very unorthodox, so to speak, and we've seen a lot of people actually making practice pit stops around here, just trying to get their entries right. It's not on the start-finish straight where you normally expected it is. It's actually a couple of corners before that. Very interesting to see things like that. You don't see things like that on modern tracks these days.
No, it's kind of a throwback. You got to pick your pit entries. So guys that are practicing it now, it's kind of showing me they might not have been practicing it a lot, but it sneaks up on you quick. You're going down the front straight by the pits on the racetrack. If you miss that pit entry and you're short on fuel, God help you, and hope you can make it around another 3 miles to get to that pit entry without having to tow the car and throw all that track position away.
Yep, just welcoming the people in the chat right now. JR Carp is in the chat, my broadcast partner on Mondays and the master of mediocrity, who hosts the PESR Racing podcast. So make sure you check them out every week when they do come out. Rhonda A in the chat as well. Hi, everybody. And James Foreman in the chat as well. Good to see you in there. And a shame we couldn't be seeing you out on track here tonight, James. Going to be a fun one. But let's focus on the action at hand and where everybody is at the moment, especially after the LMP2 class got dropped. Now, the LMP2 field has been spread out. The points that they got last week has been, they did keep the points that they got from last week. So last week's overall winner, when I can find him, Patrick Ripley, who's in the very nice Ford GTE, kept his 30 points that he gained last week for race win, and is equal on points with David Lehman, who won the GTE class last week.
Yeah, and speaking of David Lehman, he is getting ready to head out there on track for his qualifying lap. Qualifying underway here at the Twin Ring here in Japan, and these guys have got 10 minutes to get it done, to get 2 laps, to get that fastest time, to see where they're going to grid out at the start of this thing.
Like they do. Just want to point out, we will have one exemption in this field tonight, and his name will show up a few times here tonight. Dennis Diaz is actually in race control, so he won't be in the race itself. So if you see his name pop up, don't think he's going to be on track. He's actually controlling the way things are run here tonight, not by his own choice, but he's up there anyway. The colours you got to look out for on the broadcast in the overlay is blue for GTE, yellow for GT3, no more red for LMP2, but that doesn't matter. We can still see where people lie anyway. David Lehman right now out on track, and you see the lights are out on the car. It's getting dark out there now, Byron.
Yep, and that's actually going to help when it comes to overtaking. You're going to see the GTE class get a little faster than the GT3 cars, and when it comes into, say, maybe 20 minutes into this thing, we're going to see lap traffic become a factor for the leaders in the GTE class. Watch those headlights. Those guys have got a button there on their steering wheel. They'll be flashing and saying, hey, faster car coming, so you don't get those incidents that you don't, where we're going to tie them up on the track, where they've got to get towed to the pits or get damage on them and have to go take that one and only fast repair that they've got.
And we're on board with David Lehman as he starts his first qualifying lap right now and making his way up the hill and to this right-hander. I believe this is his first lap, and I could be wrong.
Now, this will be, this will be his first one, unless he took an off track on the first one.
No, he didn't. He's gone through, I believe that was turn 1. There's 2 pit straights on this track, which is very confusing, but we'll get it right eventually. But here we go, David Lehman going through this very tight left-hander. And one thing I did notice about this track here at Motegi, unlike tracks like Okayama and Suzuka that we've gone to, this one very, very technical here. Kind of reminds me of the Nürburgring, not the Nordschleife, but the actual the GP circuit.
Yeah, this is a very technical track. Yes, a lot of these corners you're going to see these guys take. They're going to have to go, like you're just watching right now with David Lehman. He just went through a left-hander and a right-hander. There's a lot of double apex turns where you got to take a left-hander followed by another left-hander, where you got to set your entries up just right. And with these corners the way they are and the track as wide as it is, you know, you're going to have a lot of passing opportunities where guys can get on those brakes a lot harder to dive it into the corner a lot deeper. As we're waiting on the first qualifying times to come in, David Lehman crossing the start-finish line, lays down his first qualifying lap. I don't see it coming up on qualify right now.
That's the fake pit straight that we were talking about. So it's not quite there yet.
Okay, under the bridge.
Now this is very difficult.
Through the double apex.
Yep, and now this is where he's going to finish his lap, and this is where we're going to see where he goes. Paul Skip puts in the first time, but Ryan Tyler goes in. Bryce Anderson puts one in, and Lehman straight to the top there with 147.364 times coming in thick and fast. And thankfully, we do have single car qualifying this week.
Yeah, last week was a kerfuffle, if you ask me, in qualifying, because we had every car out on the track at the same time. Guys were getting drafts from each other as best they could. Guys were getting held up by slower classes. This one here, single car qualifying, you're getting the best you can out of the laps that you're turning. Taking a look at the GT3 class, Alex Cornfield on the top with a 150.502. He has got a full second on the rest of the qualified field out there. Nicholas Paletti in second, followed by Andrew Malinowski.
Yeah, Nicholas Paletti is in second, and for some reason I've got him in the wrong class, so please bear with me for 1 second. But Nicholas Paletti had a very difficult race last week, and will be looking to have a better one here tonight, and he gets displaced by one Mr. Mark Thomas. Now, Mark Thomas was one of the guys that was the favourite to collect a win last week. He had an early retirement in last week's race at Canadian Tire, and Zach Purcell was actually the man that actually took away the win last week, even though that was completely unexpected for him to take it.
Yeah, it's, you know, he's going to be having his work cut out for him here to climb back up the ladder after getting that early retirement, falling way down in points. But it is season, or the first race of the season. You got a full season to race, and we've said it, you don't have to be the fastest, but you need to be the most consistent. As we see Ryan Tyler go to the top of the board in GTE.
Yeah, Doug Buchanan goes up into second place. David Lehman is still on his first lap, so he will be... Actually, David Lehman actually has just finished his second lap, so he's going to only settle for third at best. Bryce Anderson, I believe, has just come in to put his final laps in right now, possibly. I could be wrong. I need to get the qualifying thing up. I don't have it on my current overlay, but I need to put that in for future reference. But
well, to give you an idea... Whoops, sorry, Sam.
Carry on. No, you're fine.
I was going to say, to give you an idea, we're looking at 37 cars. Well, make that 36 because Dennis Diaz isn't racing. He's race control. 36 cars over two classes. GTE looks to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of them in the GTE class. And the balance, we got a large GT3 field. We're going to have to keep our eyes on that.
Yeah, I will indeed be keeping an eye on that one. I'm just cycling my way through the field here and making sure everybody's where they should be. As Dan Coleman is making his debut here tonight, I believe. But everybody's just finishing off their qualifying runs there, and you can see there is Bryce Anderson just making his way up into pit road. I think he's done for qualifying. Tyler Langenberg out on track in his Porsche as he makes his way up the hill and into pit road. He's finished with qualifying. Nicholas Paletti, I believe, is done in his Porsche. The Doge Squad Racing driver is just coming through what I like to call the fake pit straight. So let's see where he will fare. But look at the time difference between the drivers, though, Byron. Only 3 seconds difference between GT and GT3. This could be a lot closer than you think it is.
Yeah, well, 3 second difference when it takes you almost 2 minutes to get around this track. We're not going to see any overtaking, but then again, it'll happen sooner than you think because GT3 rolls off first. GTE rolls off first. GT3, they take the green flag 10 seconds behind the GTE field. So chop 10 seconds off that 3. We'll probably be looking at, in the first 20 minutes, we're going to see lap traffic become an issue for the GTE class.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening as just scouring through the field still, and for some reason Carlos Ramos is in a Lamborghini this week, so
just had a late addition to the GTE field. Mr. Ronnie Osborne made it in.
Well, good to see him here. I believe he's brought his Corvette with him. As we're looking at Carlos Ramos, I can only assume he's joined with the wrong car here tonight because he's supposed to be running with the GTE crowd, but he's rocking an all-white Lamborghini tonight, so that's can only explain. That can only mean that, yeah, he might have picked the wrong car for this one.
How many times have we logged into a server, Sam, where we had multi-class, multiple cars to choose from, and we knew what we wanted to race, and how many times have we logged in and actually picked the wrong car, and it locks us out. We can't go back out, reselect the car, and come back in. What you registered with is what you're running.
Yep, as Ramos starts his qualifying run, but I don't think he's going to have enough time to get a time in here. He's got less than 10 seconds to get one in, and no, he won't. We've just gone over the 10-minute mark right now, so that'll be it for qualifying right now here at Twin Ring Motegi. So, with that being said, let's go to the grid for tonight's race. Once I can actually find my music, but anyway, let's go to the grid for tonight's race, and starting with the GTE field, we have one Mr. Ryan Tyler up on the pole, the Brit, starting with a 1:47.343. That is the fastest time of the night so far. Doug Buchanan will join him on the front row in the Mad Sim Racing Machine. But then you have row 2 with David Lehman and Bryce Sanderson. Row 3 with Paul Skip and Terry Cowger. Row 4 will be Keith Roycroft and Tyler Langenberg. Row 5 will be Paul Boyle and Daniel Hingley. Row 6 will be Aaron Fulford and Atticus Middleton. Next row behind them will be Nick Terrell and Ronnie Osmer, and bringing up the rear of the field in his GTE car will be last week's winner, Patrick Ripley, Byron.
Yeah, Alex Cornfield, he's going to start off on the pole for the GT3 class. To his outside elbow is going to be Mark Thomas. Nicholas Paletti is going to roll off third. Fourth would be Alex Rotniak, and rounding out the top 5, Kyle Smith. Andrew Malinowski is going to roll off 6th. Chris Lawson 7th, Nick Brown 8th, Zachary Nuremberger, a 9th place qualifying effort for the GT3. He's going to have his work cut out for him. Aaron Clayball is going to start right behind him. Roger Shank, Sean Crowley, Zach Purcell, Antoine, he's going to kick me in the ding-ding for ruining this name. Tony Watson, Adam Dahl, Dave Ferrara, Aiden Svoboda, Dan Coleman, Marcus Osborne, and rounding out that starting shotgun on that field will be Carlos Ramos. He wasn't in there in time to get himself qualified in.
Yep, the field about to start rolling right now, and we are ready to go racing here at Twin Ring Motegi. And there is Ryan Tyler, a pole sitter, already having connection problems here. Not good for the Brit.
No, I'm seeing a lot of connection issues. Ronnie Osmer clicking in and out. I'm seeing flashing all over the track. But Pache KR, he's behind the wheel of the pace car. He's got the field in tow as we're going one parade lap around here. And they're going to fire this thing off in the green. We got 1 hour and 40 minutes of endurance racing. Look for 2 stops on this thing for strategy. Whether they take tires or not will be something we'll be watching.
As they come around the final corner, green flag going to be in the air right now. We are going to be racing here at Twin Ring Motegi, and GTE field is underway as we get round 2 in the books here tonight as they make their way down towards turn 1. GT3 field is underway as well as they make their way down towards turn 1. Alex Cornfield already in a decent lead as we look at the GTE field. Ryan Tyler leads the way as they head towards turn number 3.
Yeah, just keeping an eye through this whole field. Everyone keeping it clean and green. It looks like cold tires are the issue. We are going to try and keep the car underneath us. As I'm seeing a lot of flashing going on out there in the track. I thought it was passing already. Now it's headlights coming back in and out, because I'm seeing a couple of guys with some serious ping issues. The 55 of Ronnie Osmer and the 36 of Nick Brown.
I thought there was a problem for Aiden Svoboda, but there wasn't. He just stopped dead on the track to try and avoid overtaking. Now, they did have a no passing rule here tonight. No passing before turn 3, as we've had a problem for Patrick Ripley already. He's got into it with Atticus Middleton, last week's winner, getting off on the wrong foot here tonight. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened between these two now. Ripley was already in a non-desirable position, trying to get around Atticus Middleton, who spun right in front of him, and Ripley had nowhere to go.
Yeah, it looks like he just got that car cold tire curse, and Middleton's still having an issue keeping it on the track.
Yeah.
Finally gets it dialed back in and gets her fire back underway.
So Atticus Middleton starting off badly. Patrick Ripley, last week's winner, off badly again, and he goes off one more time, and I think he took Chris Lawson with him right there.
Looks like these tires have yet to get warmed up. These guys need to tiptoe around this thing. Could it be the cold air as Patrick Ripley brings it into the pit lane? He's probably going to be looking for that fast repair and take a moment to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, that's 2 big hits he's taken already. Ronnie Osmer has had an off track as well, and Osmer is fighting with the GT3 field as well. Let's take a look back and see what happened here. And Osmer in the kitty litter right there.
Yeah, these guys need to settle down. Just let the track come to them. Get it figured out, because as it gets darker and that track gets colder, we're going to have different handling issues on these different cars. But it is going to be interesting to see. We've seen Osmer, I don't know how many times, make a charge through a field. You and I keep talking about the epic, 6 hours of the Glen, where he made a charge through the field. We'll keep our eyes on that. But back at the front of the field, GTE class, Doug Buchanan looks like he's gotten around Ryan Tyler, and he's starting to leg it out a little bit.
He has. So new race leader so far here tonight, that is Doug Buchanan with Ryan Tyler in second place. Let's bring up the ticker for this one, and I'm pretty sure I can extend the numbers now, seeing as
Bam always playing with his toys.
I am. Maybe not.
Well, someone didn't want to share their toys, I guess.
There we go. Anyway, there is one Mr. Doug Buchanan leading the field. Alex Cornfield already out to almost a second lead over Mark Thomas right now. Carlos Ramos has had an off track somewhere. Let's take a look and see what's happened to him, and he's facing the wrong way on a one-way street right there, Byron.
Yeah, not a place to be, and you got to keep an eye on your relative, make sure no one's coming. No one's coming from behind him for a while, so he's able to get that thing turned around, straightened out, and fired back the right way.
Just ran a bit too far wide, the hairpin, and onto the fake pit straight, and just hitting that wall on the inside. Not going to help him right there, as we've had an incident for Doug Buchanan from the race lead, and Buchanan is down in P4 right now. Let's take a look and see what happened to him. We'll go back to the racing action right now, because I'm pretty sure the GT3 field is all over each other right now, and Buchanan, he just ran wide there, and that's all it took for him to lose that lead right there. As we go back to the racing action, Tyler in the lead, Lehman second, Bryce Anderson in third, Doug Buchanan in fourth, and Ronnie Osmer has had more problems. He's towed into pit road.
Oh boy. Yeah, Ronnie Osmer, he is he's decided to put it on the hauler and call it a night. The twin ring is not his friend tonight in this field.
That's what happens when you don't turn a single lap of practice, but that's just my opinion. Anyway. Yeah, Brad McComb's in the chat right now and saying, let's go Lehman. So, David Lehman getting them some support, and shame Brad McComb's couldn't be here tonight.
David Lehman takes it wide off and noses it in across the kitty litter.
And that's not what you want to see from the man that won the GTE class last week. So it's the winners of last week are already struggling here tonight. Ripley is on the back foot. And now David Lehman on the back foot. Zach Purcell in GT3. He's been pretty much nowhere so far tonight. Where is he? I can't even find him at the moment.
Yeah, I took another look at that Lehman off track. It looked like he might have had a little help from Bryce Anderson and some net code on his back bumper to push him off that corner.
Paul Boyle having problems as well now as he's falling back through the field. He's in that Gulf-inspired Ford GTE, and it's good to see the Gulf colours back on that Ford car.
You know what? I say what you want about that Ford car. It's not a popular car in the iRacing service. Because it just doesn't handle as nimbly as some of the others, but I think personally that is one of the sharpest looking cars.
Now it's an iconic paint scheme on it as well. Let's not forget. As Patrick Ripley has had a big off, and he's not going to be a happy camper with this one. Let's go back and see what's happened to him right here. And I can't really see what's happened to him. Oh, he went straight on through the kinks there, and thankfully didn't hit anything. Ripley having a struggle, already on board the struggle bus here tonight from the penthouse to the outhouse for last week's race winners.
Yeah, but you know what? We got a lot of racing to go yet tonight. Anything can happen. We've seen it how many times in this league? Anything can and will happen in here. An hour and 40 minutes. That's 200 minutes of endurance racing. You need to have your mental, workout already in, because these guys, this track, Sam, is not giving anyone a rest.
Big battle for the lead there as Doug Buchanan trying to take that lead back away from Ryan Tyler, and the GTE field is as close as you would love it here tonight. And Terry Calgar Jr. having a few connection problems right now. He's just ahead of Keith Roycroft, who's rocking the Porsche here tonight in driving for Pony Express Sim Racing. Tyler Langenberg, the top 7, you can throw a blanket all over those guys. They're right on top of each other right now.
Yeah, these guys, they're starting to fall into their rhythm. This is a very much of a rhythm track. You're going to be hitting your marks, where you're going to have an issue, especially with mental fatigue, as later on in the races we talked about many times, but also when these guys come up on lap traffic, that rhythm's going to get thrown off, because you're going to have to take your apex on the corner differently. You're going to have to slow down and get out of that rhythm to pick your spots, to make a pass, to dive under somebody, to go around them, to undercut them, to overcut them. It's not an easy track to pass on, as we're seeing right here. As Ryan Tyler and Doug Buchanan are all over each other.
We're just looking at a couple of replays there as here comes Doug Buchanan now looking around the outside of Ryan Tyler. Doesn't quite have the momentum right there. Tyler very well within his rights to defend that inside line right there. As Adam Dahl is just having some horrible luck right now, as well as Patrick Ripley. Now, let's go back and see what happened to Ripley here. We'll go back to the lead battle in just a second, but Ripley still trying to make his way around GT3 traffic and just runs into the side. I believe that's Coleman he hit right there. Yeah, that was Dan Coleman he hit. So Ripley's still having problems here as we go back to the lead battle right now, and it's all on between that top 4 right now. 3 Porsches against 1 BMW.
Yeah, well, you know what? I know one Mr. Race Control that's rooting for a BMW right now. He's saying, hey, Porsche, who? Well, guess what? BMW is about to find out.
Well, I'm still yet to paint them a mean Porsche, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be coming at some point tonight in the future, as Paul Boyle has had problems here, and I think Paul Boyle might have put it on the hauler. He has. Paul Boyle is out.
Boy, attrition's starting to take its early toll as I'm looking back at the GT3 field. Alex Cornfield out to a commanding lead. He's got a couple seconds over second place, Nicholas Paletti. And Mark Thomas has worked his way up into that 3rd spot in the GT3 class. And another name we're familiar with, Oliver Wozniak, sitting in the top 4, within that top 5, running 4th. He's, doing what he normally does, flies in under the radar, quietly works his way up. The only issues we've ever seen him having is that mental toughness towards the end of this thing, but he's been getting better and better at it. My hat's off to him. I look for Oleg to have a good finish tonight.
Well, who can forget that epic battle he had with with Patrick Ripley last week on that final couple of laps. Definitely got me out of my seat with them two going at it for the overall honours in the LMP2 class. They're in different classes this week though. Brodniak opting to go down to the GT3 class with Ripley going to GTE. Now, Brodniak showing some good pace, and you were talking about Mark Thomas making his way up for the field. Thomas has actually dropped down to third place. Paletti at some point has got around him and is now up to second place and starting to pull away.
Yeah, it looks like Mark Thomas is just overdriving it just a little bit. You know, he's got to settle that thing in. I look for him to hang on there in it as, yeah, my timing and scoring is I'm watching Paul Boyle drop down the list. Everything's kind of lining up. These guys here still at it, but take a look at the GTE field. Doug Buchanan looks like he had gotten around Ryan Tyler. Ryan Tyler is in the middle of a Porsche battle right now.
Yeah, and that's because Ryan Tyler had an off track, and here is where it happened. And it was in exactly the same place where Buchanan had his off track and lost the lead, and now Buchanan has taken it back. Dan Coleman in the GT3 field has had another incident. He's back up and running again, but in trouble. Nick Terrell has just had an incident as well in the GT3 field. He's running the good wrench number 81. And I'm pretty sure I remember one Mr. Dennis Diaz running that at one point as he goes for a spin. As we go back to the lead battle right now, it's still on. Doug Buchanan out to the lead, out to a good lead. Paul Skip now up to second place in his Porsche.
Yeah, he got around. He was able to get around. Bryce Anderson's right there. You could throw a towel over second to fifth.
Yep. And Ryan Tyler's still having those blinking issues. Is right there is Bryce Anderson as well. Terry Cowger Jr. is right there, and Terry Cowger Jr. has not had the start to the season he wanted. He had a pretty difficult run last week in that LMP2 car. Now he's back in a more familiar car. Seems to be having the same difficulties as he did last week as he looks to the inside of Bryce Anderson right now. Anderson! Cowger in, getting into it, and Anderson hard into the tire wall.
Taking a look on a replay, Bryce Anderson went for that inside move and just drifted way wide. And yeah, what a tough one. Those are two guys going for that position, and the outside car just ran out of track.
Yeah, just run out of track, and that is Bryce Anderson's run for the lead over, for now at least anyway. And Tom Corner, just to answer your question, no, that not the whole field is all there, but I can assure you there's more in this at the moment, as Tyler Langenberg has put it on the haul. I'm not sure what's happened to him. We're going to find out now, though. He just went straight off track and out of the race, and that is, I'm guessing he must have had some sort of emergency there, because it's not often you see a driver like him just pull off the track like that and leave the server.
Doug Buchanan out to that lead. Paul Skip, Ryan Tyler, that's your second place battle, and it's tightening up.
It is. The field's starting to spread out though. Skip still in second, Tyler in third, Roycroft and Cowger going at it. Roycroft getting around Terry Cowger after that incident between Cowger and Anderson, and Roycroft running a bit wide, and then now gives up the position back to Terry Cowger. David Lehman is still on a recovery drive. He's back up to P6 right now. Daniel Hingley, who's on his debut here tonight, running the same paint scheme as Atticus Middleton in P7. So Hingley not doing too badly right now.
No,
just as I say that,
is badly at all.
Just as I say that, is spins. So you can get your hate mail.
You know, it might be Tyler Langenberg. You know, we wondered what happened to him. He got dropped for connection issue. And I'm seeing a lot of guys going high ping and back in again. I think iRacing might be having an issue because it's doing the same thing to me now, too.
Yeah, as we're still cycling through the field here. Nicholas Paletti in second place. Mark Thomas is getting closer again, though, trying to get that second position back away from that Porsche. Oliver Vorotniak is right with him as well. Andrew Malinowski is right there in his Ferrari too. Then you got Carl Smith in his monster inspired BMW. Roger Shank, last season's champion, is in there. He's trying to stay ahead of Daniel Hingley. That won't last long as Hingley trying to get those positions back after that spin he just had. Zachary Nürnberger, now you said he had a lot of work to do. He's definitely given himself a lot of work so far here, Byron. He's battling with Sean Crowley and Aaron Clayball to hold on to that 9th place in class.
Yeah, we got battles going on all over this track. It's kind of tough for me. I'm trying to switch back and forth between classes, and iRacing's deciding, I'm not going to let you see it. Okay, you can look at it. No, you can't. Yes, you can. But you know what? I'm catching a lot of good battles all the way around here. Focused in on Mark Thomas and Nicholas Paletti, 2nd and 3rd place in the GT3 class. These guys are going at it hammer and tong.
Yeah, good to see a battle going on right here between these two. Mark Thomas and Nicholas Paletti had very quiet or not very successful races last week as they go at it for 2nd place. Now, it's worth pointing out Alex Cornfield is making his debut as well here tonight and already stamping his authority on the field here tonight. This could have good implications for this driver if he can keep up this type of form, but like we keep saying, 1 hour and 40 minutes, we're only 17 and a half minutes in, still a long way to go here. Doug Buchanan now out to a 3.7 second lead over Paul Skip, who's still struggling to shake off Ryan Tyler.
Yeah, Ryan Tyler is not going to go away. We've seen him, he lost it because of a bit of an off track, but he's still hanging right up in there with those Porsche as Doug Buchanan, he's starting to step it out. He's got 3.5 seconds up over Paul Skip. Terry Calga Jr., don't count him out. Him and Keith Roycroft, those two cars are going back and forth right now.
Yep, two Pony Express teammates going at it right there as we got more going on at the moment. We still have Ryan Tyler having those blinking issues. That's why the ticker is doing what it's doing, the timing tower. But he's Tyler is still staying with him. Roycroft and Calga still going at it for that 4th spot, and I hate to break the news to him, but David Lehman is starting to close the gap on those two as well.
Yeah, don't count David Lehman out. We were watching him in practice. He was turning some really consistent laps. Turned a decent qualifying effort, gritting up in the 3rd position. He's dropped 3 spots in track position, but he's working on it, not giving up.
No, he's not at all. That's, there you go. I've shown off put the rest of the time tower up there because so you can see the full extent of the field. The GTE field, now, there's only, I believe there's only, well, Tyler Langenberg is back in the session right now. He's just actually come back. He is quite a number of laps down. He's on his way back out of pit road. He's got a lot of making up to do, but the best he can do is rely on retirement at this point. He is so far back. He's 16 seconds off the back of Nick Terrell right now, who is 1 lap off the back of Bryce Anderson, who's about to get lapped himself.
Yeah, and Chris Lawson just got dropped from the server for connection issues. A lot of guys having a tough time here at Japan. Maybe it's we're so far away from home, that's why. But, taking a look, watching these guys, Alex Cornfield, he has got command of this field. But like, you were alluding to earlier, the mental toughness issue. Can he do it? It's an hour and 40 minutes. And also, he's putting his stamp of authority on this track with these guys. We go to several different styles of track. The next track that we go to, that's good. Another tough one, a high speed and very technical, but you do get a couple of breaks in it. I do believe we go to Spa next week.
Yeah, Spa, a track that once its reconstruction is finished, will need rescanning. Hint, hint, iRacing. Because,
I'm sure they got that on the docket already.
yeah, because they're restructuring a large portion of the track, most notably Eau Rouge and Radion. So,
Making it safer for real life is what they're doing.
they're just putting gravel traps around there. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, we've seen, you know, in the past, 2 years, how many people have we seen lose their life off of Eau Rouge heading into Radion?
One.
Well, I thought it was more than that. Oh, no. There were some bad wrecks.
Yeah.
But one fatality. But we've seen some very bad ones where there should have been more fatalities. But they're making it a lot safer for the drivers, especially in the open wheel classes.
Yeah, one of the drivers that had a bad wreck at Radion earlier in 2021 actually broke his back and was able to actually come back and test in a Formula One car recently. That was Jack Aitken. That was a pretty good comeback story for him. Bit from going from having that accident in Radion and then coming back from a broken back. And let me emphasize on that: a broken back is a very serious injury. To come back months later and be able to test a Formula One car, that's a pretty good recovery.
Oh, not to interrupt you there, but looking at the GT3 class, Andrew Malinowski just got around Alec Vorotniak with a great move coming out of the corner. He just dove that thing in, got in underneath him. He did it with this brake pedal. Move Andrew Malinowski up to 4th place in the GT3.
Yeah, and actually forced Vorotniak wide right there through that right-hander onto the fake pit straight and able to get around him as we're looking at Malinowski right now, and is already starting to pull away from Vorotniak. Driver for Mad Sim Racing is the teammate to Roger Shank, who's currently sitting in P7 right now in class. Not doing too badly. He's got Patrick Ripley right behind him, who's still trying to make his way through the field at the moment. Zachary Nürnberger is the next one, pole position right behind him. Battle for second place in both GTE and GT3 still going on. Let's go to the battle between Paletti and Thomas right now. That second place battle in GT3 still raging on here, Byron.
Yeah, I'm watching Paletti and Mark Thomas. Mark Thomas has been right on the rear, not super close, but he is right there on Paletti, and he is doing something in endurance racing that I've heard preached to me, and I've preached it many times myself. You don't have to tear your stuff up, wear out your tires and everything, trying to get around them. We've got a long race to go. Stay right there. And just having someone on your rear tail. Sam, how many times has it happened to you when we've been in a race? You've got someone just stalking you like Mark Thomas is on Paletti right now, and you start driving more out of your rearview mirror than you pay attention out of the front windshield. And it's going to give you, you start doing that, you're going to see a mental error in a corner, and Thomas will be right there to pounce on it.
Yeah, absolutely. As Bryce Anderson has had another incident here, and that might be race ending for him. And that would be an absolute disaster for Bryce Anderson. As we're going to see what happened here. He just pulled it over and jumped to pit road. Exactly what he did at the Nordschleifer in the 3 Hours of Green Hill.
And Bryce Anderson on the hauler.
Yeah. And that's 2 retirements in 2 for Bryce Anderson, so that is not a good start to the season. For the man who won the first ever race in endurance for amateurs, yeah, he's done. Cheers for Svoboda. Well, let's go to one Mr. Svoboda right now. Aidan Svoboda in that multicolored Porsche right now, currently sitting in P19 in class right now, just ahead. Well, he's a few seconds ahead of Dan Coleman right now. As
here come the Pony Express boys around him in the GTE class.
Yeah.
Flashing the headlights, letting him know, hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here.
That was Keith Roycroft that just went around him. And Roycroft has fallen off the back of Terry Cowger Jr. And Cowger is having a few connection problems as well. Ryan Tyler looks like he might have figured his out as he's still on the back of Paul Skip right now. You can see Doug Buchanan just making his way through the left-hander right there. That Wait, there's something not right here. Just give me 2 seconds. You keep talking, Byron.
I'll keep talking. Doug Buchanan, he's got about a 5-second lead on the field. Paul Skip, Ryan Tyler, they are all over each other. Calgar Jr. and Roycroft, they're starting to get a bit more of a separation, and that rounds out your top 5. David Lehman, he's fallen back a bit. He's about another 5 seconds back behind Roycroft in the GTE class. Looking at the GT3s, as I click on over, Alex Cornfield, he is still out there with 4 seconds, like you said, Sam, earlier. He is putting his stamp of authority in his first, his debut here in this league at this track. But we go to several different styles of tracks, and we'll see if that stamp of authority transfers with him. Nicholas Paletti and Mark Thomas, they're still going at it. Mark Thomas is still right at the back of Nicholas Paletti, just waiting for him, not pressuring him too hard. But as this thing goes on, I think they're just riding it out right now until they get to the bottom of that fuel tank to see what they're going to do strategy-wise. Are we going to take tires? Are we not going to take tires? Are we going to do an overcut, an undercut? What are we going to do? Are you going to pit? Am I going to cover? There's a lot of strategy goes into this thing.
Yeah, I thought Doug Buchanan was in Mad Sim Racing, but it looks like I might be wrong. We got one heck of a battle between Roger Shank, Aaron Claybaugh, and Sean Crowley going on right now, too. Yep, there it is. Well, there's Aaron Claybaugh anyway. Sean Crowley right there as well. And there is Roger Shank, the reigning GT3 champion, looking to get that position away from Crowley. Crowley runs wide, though. That might give an opportunity to Shank right there in that awesomely painted Lamborghini. We say it every week, but just look at it. It's beautiful.
Oh, wow. You can't put a piece of paper between those two doors as they went around that corner.
You cannot, as Shank just stays with him. They're side by side, and Shank gets it done around the outside, and it's not very often you see something like that happen. As right behind him is Marcus Osborne as well. And for a person that's not done a single lap of practice, Osborne not doing too badly at all.
No, he's not. He's hanging in there with him. You know what? Marcus Osborne is one heck of a driver in his own right, as we've seen in the past seasons in this league. Give him a few laps on there, let him find his rhythm, and he can run with the best of them.
Yeah, Claybaugh is able to get away from these guys as Shank just able to stay ahead of Crowley. Now Marcus Osborne sees an opportunity to get around that number 31 Ferrari. This is some good GT3 racing here. We've got a GTE in the mix right there. That is actually Nick Terrell trying to get around them.
Yeah, Nick Terrell is going to have to be very careful and tiptoe his way around, because these guys, they're battling for position. Now, Nick Terrell, he's in the faster car. Yeah, he can't get around them, but these guys are not going to give an inch because they're battling for position. They're not going to, if they go to give 1 inch to one car, there's going to be a couple of GT3s that are going to say, hey, me too, me too, me too.
Yeah, there is. As there we are looking at Shank. He's starting to get away from Crowley now. And Crowley's still, Osborne just not giving anything to Terrell right now. Terrell said, please let me buy an Osborne just saying, nah.
No, he's like we said, these guys are battling for position, and they have every right to take all the track they can, to run their line to try to make their race.
Yeah, and just like the sponsor on his car, it's literally breaking his will to live. I know it broke mine on a few occasions, but anyway. Controversial. Anyway, Carlos Ramos has had an incident right now. He is, not having the best race at all as he goes for a spin through the final part of the track. Daniel Hingley, unfortunately, has had another incident in his Castrol GTEs. He goes straight on for the final couple of corners of the track. Keeps it going though, so not too badly for Hingley. Nick Brown, a debutant here tonight, has had an incident just now as he's making his way up the hill. Just runs a little bit too far wide as he makes his way out of the final corner, and that's your run up of incidents right here tonight. And there is a bit of a meme going around right now about one Mr. Marcus Osborne, and it's a slogan called "What would Marcus do?"
Ha!
And
I'll tell you what Marcus would do. He is out there racing his heart out right now.
yeah. Well, what would Marcus do right now is not let that Corvette that's behind him, that's actually Aaron Fulford, right behind him, not let him through as Mark Thomas has had a crash here. Big crash here with that. I believe that's Daniel. That's let me just double check here. That's Daniel Hingley he's got into it with.
Daniel Hingley in that in that Ford GT car. Oh, just loops it. No damage. Mark Thomas just, he was able to get on the binders. Maybe bumped him a little bit and keeps it going. But he lost all that track position that he had with that battle with Nicholas Paletti.
Yeah, and Patrick Ripley was also in that as well. I'm very shocked that Ripley did not get any of that whatsoever.
Yeah, Malinowski gets around Thomas, and now Thomas is in a sandwich between Malinowski and Vorodniak.
Yeah, and that's going to be an interesting three-way battle now between those three. Tyler Langenberger's had an incident. He's had a crash somewhere, and he's still crashing right now. And put a nice big wrinkle in both the front and the back of that car, and that car is not going to drive straight. And, well, thankfully, he's on the fake pit straight, so he can actually get that into pit road and repaired right now. Yeah, that car is understeering badly. And you know what I just asked you a second ago? What would Marcus do? Well, Marcus just brought it to pit road. That's what he did.
And now I'm wondering, is this a scheduled pit stop?
Well, I'm looking through my notes and I don't see anything that's happened to Marcus Osborne. So Osborne just coming in for a fuel stop. Now we've had an incident for Keith Roycroft as well. Remember, he was in a battle with Terry Calgar Jr. Now Roycroft just got it all wrong, went straight on in the left-hander, and unfortunately Roycroft has got a lot of damage on that car that he's got to fix now. So unfortunately, yeah, Roycroft in a bit of trouble here tonight, and he's being caught by Alex Cornfield. Now Cornfield, you got to think he's almost on the pace of the GTE drivers at this point.
Yeah, his last lap that he turned was a 151. He qualified with a 150, so he's only got a 1 second fall off on his lap times. This deep into it, we're working, what, 20, 21 laps on the GT3 cars?
Yeah. He's, well, already proven to be a very fast driver. He already has made that 5 second lead over Nicholas Paletti, who's finally shaken off, obviously, Mark Thomas, who had that spin, had that incident. Andrew Malinowski is ahead of him with Mark Thomas right behind him, and there is Oliver Vorodniak as well. And not too far behind them either. One Mr. Carl Smith is sneaking up behind this battle as well for third place. Quietly moving his way on up. Under the radar, not getting a lot of love on the broadcast because he's doing it under the radar, but he's just picking and choosing where he's putting that car, which is a smart thing to do. We're only, 35 minutes into this thing. We got a long way to go. I mean, he is driving a black car with neon green M's on it, so it's almost like a stealth car, as Antoine de Cache has had an incident right here, and, well, he's just gone off track and he's back on again. But yeah, it's almost like he's driving he's flying a stealth bomber. He's like flying in under the radar here, and with that blacked out car like it is, it's very much in stealth mode.
Sorry, I'm trying to answer a message here, a question about the race. Multi-class racing, we got new viewers checking this thing out. We're sharing the link around for the Pony Express. It's a great league. You're seeing a lot of fun driving. GT3 style racing out here, multi-class on a road course. It just doesn't get any more fun than this.
Absolutely. As the chat going quiet right now, they're probably getting bored of me rambling on right now. David Lehman is up into P5 right now after his big off earlier. Up into the top 5 again. Good recovery drive from him so far.
Yeah, I would say, he's only 16 seconds off the lead, and that's not, anything that's not, insurmountable at this point of the race. Anything can happen with Doug Buchanan out there in the lead. Paul Skip, he's 4 seconds back. Ryan Tyler, he's not letting go of Paul Skip. These two have been at it this whole race.
Yeah, we've had another retirement in GT3. I'm not sure if you noticed that, Byron, but where is he? One Mr. Chris Lawson has put it on the hauler now as well.
Yep, Chris Lawson on the hauler, Bryce Anderson on the hauler. Yeah, it is attrition taking its toll here at the Twin Ring Motegi.
Yeah, so Bryce Anderson, Chris Lawson, Paul Boyle, Atticus Middleton has been in pit road for a long time. Ronnie Osmer out early as well. Lots of things going on. Mark Dillon Jr. and Dennis Diaz in the race control booth as we've had someone have a bit of a spin. And oh no! And it's not the person you want it to be. Well, it's not the person I thought it was, so it's definitely not that. Anyways, Doug Buchanan had an off track. I'm sure I just heard someone have a spin there. I could be wrong though. Doug Buchanan ran wide, and I thought it was him that had a spin, and I almost started crying for him because he's built up such a good lead so far.
Yeah, Ryan Tyler made the move on Paul Skip. Moved Ryan Tyler up to second place.
Take a look and see what happened here. And that was wide. Paul Skip running wide through that left-hander. So Skip just kind of throwing it away there, Byron.
Yep, but he's not letting Ryan Tyler, get away, and we've seen these two swap spots once already.
Race leader.
Pits.
Yeah, Doug Buchanan is in pit road for that mad. I don't know why it's still saying Mad Sim Racing. I thought I deleted that. Anyway. Yeah, Doug Buchanan is in pit road. As he comes in from the lead, Paul Skip gonna follow him in, as well as Terry Cowger Jr. in for his stop as well. David Lehman, Ryan Tyler both staying out on track. Patrick Ripley, he's already been down pit road. He took that early pit stop, I believe, on lap 2, Byron. Is that going to help him or hinder him?
I don't know. I think it might help him, especially because I'm not seeing these guys in the pits taking tires right now.
No, they're not. They'll only be in there for fuel, as Buchanan and Skip are both out on track again. As there is Buchanan just behind Roger Shank, who's I believe a lap behind him, as Roycroft has had an incident. Oh, Roycroft has had a pretty big incident as well. Let's take a look and see what happened to him here. And it's going to be under the bridge, I feel. Runs a bit too far wide and, oh, just spins and noses it into the wall. As we go back to live action, we've got wholesale pit stops happening right here, Byron. And there's a car smoking very heavily on pit road. I believe that's Atticus Middleton's car.
Yeah, Atticus Middleton, yeah, he is having an issue. I don't know if he took his fast repair earlier or not, but he's had a couple of issues running in the GTE class this time around. Normally we see him in the GT3.
Yeah, we are officially having a barbecue on pit road right there. So if you want to get yourself some burgers and hot dogs, then head on down to Atticus Middleton's garage.
I tell you what, pit road is a very busy place right now. I think we found the bottom of the fuel tank, and these guys, looking for a fresh tank of Go Fast to get back around this track. So we get about 40 minutes into this thing, so we're going to be looking at them to make another stop at 1:20. I doubt you're going to see anyone take any tires with a short stint for the third stint to the finish.
Yeah, GT3 leader Alex Cornfield has just been in pit road. Alex Malinowski, Mark Thomas and Aaron Clayball all opting to stay out an extra lap. There is Malinowski from the race lead. He's got Mark Thomas not too far behind him. David Lehman is just coming out of pit road for GTE. Now he has dropped, he stays in P4 actually. He's actually got out ahead of Terry Calgo. So Lehman getting a jump on Terry Calgo through that pit stop right there.
Yeah, the undercut working for him. I'm taking a look at second and third place right now. Ryan Tyler and Paul Skip in the GTE class, they are working GT3 traffic right now. This could have implications. You might see a position swap out of it.
As Ryan Tyler gets around Mark Thomas right there to put a lap on him. Here comes Paul Skip as well, looking to get around. It looks like the British contingent in this race are having the worst of the connection issues, as Mark Thomas is also from the United Kingdom and is blinking as well. And Mark Thomas is actually in pit road. So who's that? Oh, well, that's not Mark Thomas. That's actually Zachary Nürnberger. I apologize.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not the other limey in here. Oh, you are the limey in here. Never mind. Gotta get my digs in. Go ahead and send your hate mail to Byron Rodney, P.O. Box OU812.
Yeah.
And I'm currently located in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Gonna visit the racetrack while you're there?
Nope, I'm just passing through, broadcasting from the front seat of my mobile command center out here. 18 wheels are rolling.
Oh, you can make a side trip out to Speedway and visit the track, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure I could, but no, if I want to make it home for Friday night, as you all know, Pony Express, they have more than just this, E4A league going on. They've got an open wheel league that you broadcast on Monday night, Sam, and they have a NASCAR league running the trucks that I race in on Friday nights. And I don't have time to visit the Speedway if I want to make it home for Friday night, because we are Friday night going to be at Dover in the trucks, and I am looking forward to that one. I did some practicing there. I got a line that saves the tires. I think I might have a little something for them this time around.
Yeah, and for those that were wondering what happened on Monday with the Open Wheel for Amateurs broadcast, yeah, I can apologise for that one. I was a bit under the weather. Well, I still am a bit under the weather. I've got an infection in my that is causing me a few issues, but it's not COVID, so that's a good thing. But I took some medication which kind of had a bad effect on me and kind of rendered me unconscious for that particular night, and landed me in hospital.
Ambulance ride. Yeah, I was going to say, you don't even remember being taken by the ambulance.
Well, it's not even an ambulance ride. I literally live across the road from the hospital, so.
Oh, okay. So you didn't hear, well, you're in Ireland, so, you didn't hear the sound. We don't have those sirens here.
No, we have the same sirens as them. We have the same sirens as, well, similar sirens to American sirens. Aaron Fulford just coming out of pit road right there for his first pit stop of the night. He rejoins in P8 in class, and he's rejoined back in the GT3 field. Now, Fulford going to have to do some work right there. Sitting in the top 10 as there's only 11 GTE cars still running. Atticus Middleton, I believe, has finally blown the engine on that Ford GT because he's not moved at all. Marcus Osborne in a battle to stay ahead of Ryan Tyler, but Ryan Tyler obviously isn't a faster car. He's going to have to get around him, but Marcus Osborne got jumped by Aaron. Actually, Marcus Osborne is trying to get closer to Aaron Clayball with these GT3 cars going around him. That is not making his progress any easier.
No, he's not. It's a tough thing to do. And you know what? I'm surprised, Sam. These guys, I'm going to give my tip of the hat to the drivers in the top 6 in the GT3 class. They are all still on the lead lap. Ollie Baratniak being the last one. They're still on the lead lap with the GTE class this deep into the event. As, we're coming up on, we're what, 45 minutes deep into this thing, and they're still on that lead lap.
There we are. And there's still just under an hour of it left to go, so still lots to come up in this one, and anything could happen, as we saw last week at Canadian Tire. Just a quick recap of that. went down to the final 2 laps at Canadian Tire, but in the what is now extinct LMP2 class, and that was between it was between Patrick Ripley and Oleg Vorotniak, and look how exciting that got. I mean, a spin for both drivers in the closing minutes, and it all ended with that one epic battle near the end.
Oh god, yeah, and if you want to see an epic battle, go back and rewatch that broadcast, folks. You can find it on the Pony Express YouTube channel. Last week's race, Endurance for Amateurs at Canadian Tire, and you can see the end of that race. You know, we thought it was going to get strung out, but this league never fails to impress, especially towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and there's still little pockets of battles going on right now amongst this field. So we're looking at a battle between Oleg Vorotniak and Mark Thomas right now.
Holy smokes. Look at Doug Buchanan, what he's in the middle of. This is going to give Ryan Tyler a chance to make up some track position.
Oh, Ryan Tyler not having it all his own way. He's got a ton of lap traffic in front of him as well. So Buchanan, it kind of equals itself out as Nick Terrell makes his way into pit road. Going to be interesting.
Doug Buchanan had a very interesting moment.
Oh, that is a bit of a cluster, though, I will admit. As
he had the lap car Daniel Hingley get loose right in front of him, almost spun it around as he was right on that back bumper, and that was almost bad news for Doug Buchanan.
As Carl Smith gets out of the way, and Smith looks like he might have gone into it with Hingley. Somehow they're able to avoid each other, so that is none short of amazing. Hingley and Kyle Smith are actually battling for position overall, amazingly.
Yeah, well, Hingley, the more I watch that Ford GT go around the track, he's having some rear traction issues on this car. It is all sorts of loose when he gets it under power.
I got a feeling that Hingley might be more suited to the GT3s rather than the GTE. Just judging by the pace that he's running right now.
Well, he's the first car a lap down in the GTE field.
Yeah. He's not doing too badly, though. I'm not saying he's a bad driver. He's just a couple of seconds off. Could do with a bit more competition around him. He might actually help him along as he goes into this season. Looking very capable. Made a couple of unwarranted mistakes, but not too bad on his debut so far. I think the best. We both got to agree the best debut best debut so far going to Alex Cornfield, who's just absolutely stomping the GT3 field right now.
Yeah, but how many times have we seen it? Alex Cornfield, he's going to have, he's going to be getting lapped here pretty soon. He's still on the lead lap. They're about 10 seconds behind him in that GTE field before they come around, and how easy is he going to make it for him? I don't know. Nicholas Paletti, he's about 5 seconds back from that, and another 6 seconds back, you're going to find Andrew Malinowski. Those are the last 3 cars on the lead lap. They are in the GT3 class. Malinowski
still in that battle with, that's Daniel Hingley trying to get around him, and Hingley gets around him very nicely. It's a very deep line.
I love the looks of that. I just love the looks of that GT, that Ford GT.
Yeah, I like Patrick.
And you're
Ripley's
right, that paint job. You're right, that paint job does stand out.
Well, even the Motorcraft paint scheme on Ripley's car stands out as well. So, but it was a good move in my honest opinion. I thought it was a good move for the league to bring back the Ford GT. Really do like that car. I think they should put the Ford GT, the old Ford GT, GT3 model into the GT3 class as well.
Yeah, that would be something to see.
Yeah.
Maybe thin out that field of Porsches.
The GT3 field is mostly made up of Porsches and Ferraris right now. With the Ferrari leading the race.
We still have big battles going on. Andrew Malinowski, Kyle Smith's right there. Mark Thomas is right there. Oleg Vorotniak is right there. And so is Eric Claybaugh. So you take, 3rd through 7th, and those guys throw a blanket over them. They are all together on the track. looking to have an epic battle here in the GT3 class.
Closest battle out on track right now, though, is between one Mr. Zachary Nurnberger and Roger Shank right now. Battle for P9 between those two. Shank is all over the back of that BMW. Very nice Dragon Ball Z paint scheme on Zachary Nurnberger's car.
I'm not really seeing. I think my trading paints gave up on Nuremberger's car. Picture shows me green and red Beamer.
Oh, that's the generic paint scheme. As we've got problems here. Patrick Ripley in for his second stop of the night, I believe. That is owing to the fact that he had to make that pit stop early on in the night. We've had problems for Adam Dahl. Now, Dahl was had problems all night, and he actually didn't have a problem. He just stopped to let the traffic through, and my goodness, that's a lot of traffic.
Patrick Ripley on the hauler.
Oh, wow. Ripley out after that win last week, so that is a big setback for Ripley after getting that win last week, and unfortunately, it's all come and done this time around.
Yeah, well, you know what? We go to multiple different styles of track. Some guys are going to shine at one track, and they're going to, you know, not shine so well at others. As we've seen, as you know, Doug Buchanan still has the overall lead by 6 seconds in the GTE class, and as I cycle over to GT3, Alex Cornfield's still doing the same thing. He's got just about that same gap between him and Nicholas Paletti.
Looking at battle for third place right now between Andrew Malinowski and Carl Smith right now. Smith in that Monster Energy BMW, hounding that blue, white, black and yellow Ferrari. Now, I don't know what the balance of power is between these cars right now, but arguably the Ferrari, the brand new Evo GT3 car, and the BMW M4, the two strongest cars in GT3 right now, going at it. It's going to be an interesting battle between those two manufacturers.
Yeah, it is. You know, I don't know, like you said, what the balance of power is on them, but you know where my heart lies. Ever since they came out with that new Ferrari, I was all over that thing when we tested that at Spa. I was like, this is a fun car to drive.
Yeah. Did they bring it out for Spa?
They brought it out. Well, no, when they brought it out, that's where I just loaded up a test session and took it to Spa, because you know how I feel about Spa.
Yeah.
And it was a very fun car to run around there.
Yeah, we ran the BMW at the last 24 hours of Spa. I think we might run the Ferrari this time around.
We're going back to the Ferrari. I'm a happy camper.
It might be. Although the BMW was very strong at Spa.
Yeah, just stay away from the Merc, please.
Unless they bring out the Mercedes, the AMG, the Evo version of that car, might be interesting, but that's a long way away yet. Alex Cornfield's still out in the lead. He's only got Doug Buchanan. Actually, he's just been lapped by Doug Buchanan, so Cornfield now a lap down in this race. So all GT3 cars are a lap down now. Now, battles all over the place in GT3 right now. There's still the battle between Smith and Malinowski for third place in GT3. Also a battle between Marcus Osborne and Oleg Vorotniak right now for that number 7 spot.
Yeah, then the battles seem to be more in the GT3 class here, as these guys are a little more evenly matched. And, you know, even though it is dominated by Porsche, it's nice to see the Ferrari out there running.
Yeah. Marcus Osborne.
Your cross flags went up in the air about, 4 or 5 minutes ago. We are more than halfway home here, folks, here in the Twin Ring here in Japan. And battles all over the track.
They've just had an off track for Zach Purcell. Now, last week's GT3 winner not having it all his own way this time around. I think, yeah, it just ran wide under the bridge.
Well, didn't in the post-race interview, Zach Purcell said that this track wasn't one that he was super familiar with. He was going to go put in a lot of practice laps. And you know what? Like we said, you know, you're dominant at one track. You know, another one comes along. It's a whole different style.
I mean, that's made more evident by the fact that Patrick Ripley is already out of this race, and he won overall last week. Yeah, it's a very different story to what we've seen last week. I mean, Alex Cornfield in the lead in GT3, Doug Buchanan dominating the GTE field at the moment. Still a long way to go. He's just put a lap on Dave Ferrara. Now, with that being halfway, and I will admit, it's gone quite quickly so far. We are at halfway in this race.
So much. There's been so much to see in this race. So many battles all over this track. And, you know, no long straightaways to get these guys a break. I'm going to wonder, is the mental fatigue going to really catch up with them here in this second half?
Well, we'll find out. But for now, we're going to take a quick break as we are past halfway and get ourselves reset for the final half of this race. Do not go anywhere. We're going to have about 4 or 5 minutes. We'll be back with more action as soon as possible. Do not go anywhere. We are back live here at the Twin Ring Motegi. There are just under 32 minutes left of racing here at this Japanese track, which is not the more famous of Japanese tracks, but it's one that's here anyway. It's more notable for its oval than it is for its road course, but we're here anyway, and we're seeing some pretty good racing so far. We've just noticed a incident for one, Mr. Aaron Fulford. He had a bit of a spin going off the track right there, and boy, did he make a meal of it.
Yeah, but you know what? My hat goes off to him because he paid attention to his relative. He didn't bring it back out on track till he had a clear track to bring it back out on. Hats off to him. That is heads up the way things should be. You know, pay attention to what's going on around you.
Oh, he hit the wall
As I'm
hard,
taking a look at battles on the track, take a look at the battle in the GTE class for the third position. Ryan Tyler has been caught by David Lehman, and he is all over the back of Ryan Tyler right now.
Yeah, we're just looking at the back end of this incident for Aaron Fulford. He did hit the wall pretty hard. As we will go to Ryan Tyler and David Lehman. Now, Ryan Tyler, who started on the pole here tonight, not having it all his own way right now. And this is your closest battle in GTE right now, as Tyler almost loses it there coming under the bridge.
Yeah, getting a little tail happy under power. Car's getting awful twitchy. I don't think any of these guys took tires on that last stop. Be interesting to see because they're going to have to make one more stop before they hit the end of this thing. They're going to find the bottom of the fuel tank. They're going to be looking for some more go fast to finish this thing. And it'll be interesting to see if they take tires for the short stint because I'm seeing a lot of cars getting tail happy under power.
Yeah, as Tyler just having a few connection issues still as well. As
now, if you're David Lehman and you have a car in front of you that's having connection issues like Ryan Tyler is, are you even more nervous to dive it into a corner to try to take that position?
Yeah, probably, as we're seeing GT3 drivers made their way into pit road right now, so GT3 pit stops are happening right now, but yeah, I'd be worried a little bit. I mean, from personal experience, I would not want to be right behind someone that's blinking quite heavily right now, as if, you know, because they could end up anywhere when they come back. I mean, I've had a car like reappear right inside my car at one point and completely destroy my car in the process. So,
yeah, well, I had one put me on my lid at Spa when we were doing the 24 that way.
yeah, but I had a pit wall put me on my lid at Spa, so, you know. So anything could happen at Spa.
Yeah, this battle between Ryan Tyler and David Lehman is tightening up. We've got lap traffic is going to be an issue as Zach Purcell is there onto the back of him right now.
Zach Purcell.
They make easy work of it. Zach Purcell getting out of the way. He knows there's a battle for position going on behind him.
And he does. As Aaron Fulford has been down pit road again, probably to repair that damage he had in that spin not so long ago. Now let's go back to the battle between Tyler and Lehman. Now Tyler doing everything he can to keep David Lehman behind him. Lehman probably knows that he might have thrown the race win away, but can take that overall championship lead away if he can at least get a podium here tonight. But he's not going to find it easy at all.
No, yeah, Ryan Tyler is not going to say move over and say, here, you go ahead and take it. You know, I respect your points. Heck no, Ryan Tyler is looking at the podium right now, and he is doing everything he can, driving his race. And he's got, Lehman is pressuring Tyler, and I've seen Lehman overdrive a couple of corners trying to get an overtake on him. And Ryan Tyler, it's going to have to be Ryan Tyler making a mistake for Lehman to get around him, in my eyes, at this point.
Yeah, that's another mental issue that could take over, as well as mental fatigue, is frustration, and that is something that can really take over you. I mean, it's very easy to get frustrated when you're stuck behind a driver like David Lehman is. How long will it be before he starts making those rash moves?
Ask Tyler Vickery about frustration.
I dare not. Anyway, we've got a change for the lead here. Nicholas Paletti is taking... Wow, what's happened here? And I did say that anything could happen in this race, and it's happened to Alex Cornfield here. And there it is. Cornfield losing it under the bridge and into the wall of the bridge. That's handed the GT3 lead over to Nicholas Piletti. And Cornfield has a very damaged car there that he has to take back to pit road, although somehow he's able to keep up with the new GT3 leader.
Now, has Cornfield made his second pit stop already?
No, he has not.
So this could play into Cornfield. He could get an overcut if he brings it into pit lane and has that fast repair in his pocket. Or is Nicholas Piletti even? I don't think he's come to pit road yet either. So these two guys could just be looking to cover each other off on a pit stop.
Well, that's what you need to do. That's what Alex Cornfield needs to do. Trying to hold it out until Piletti does take it down pit road and keep pace with him until that happens. But Piletti does not look like he's going to be bringing it down anytime soon. Neither.
No, Piletti's starting to leg it out on him now,
yeah,
too.
he is. Cornfield has no pace in that car. The front end of that car severely damaged. Thankfully for him, the Ferrari is a mid-engine car, so the engine won't be damaged in that. It's more aerodynamics than anything else.
And now Malinowski's starting to get a whiff of Cornfield. He can see him up on those straights heading into corners, and he hasn't been able to do that all race long. And Kyle Smith is not letting Malinowski get away either.
No, Kyle Smith is still right there as well. So the GT3 field starting to close back up a little bit as well. We've got P2 in pit road, I believe. Oh, Paul Skip getting it all wrong into pit road. Big problems. Paul Skip getting it all wrong.
He had 4 seconds on Ryan Tyler, who's still out on the track going for another lap. So it's going to be interesting to see how this cycles out.
Take another look at this. He just went across the grass and had to stop there. Thankfully, Paul Skip didn't hit anything. That could have been so much worse.
Yeah, Paul Skip would have never forgiven himself for giving away that much. Paul Skip in and out of pit road. I did not see tires going on that car.
No, that was just fuel and no tires whatsoever. Probably did that to save the time he lost to both Doug Buchanan and
as Lehman
Ryan
gets
Tyler.
around Tyler.
There he goes. Yeah, Lehman got around Tyler. So Lehman has put himself in a good spot, but 21 seconds behind Doug Buchanan. But Paul Skip, as I said, probably didn't take tires because he was trying to claw back some of that time he lost after that really, really sketchy pit entry right there.
Yeah, now these guys, I was looking at their lap times, they're running more and more time. They're getting a tire fall off on these cars. As I'm looking over to the GT3 class, Alex Cornfield, second place. He's still got Nicholas Piletti in his windshield, but that gap is getting wider and wider.
Doug Buchanan in from the lead in GTE. Now the overall race leader is in for this one. Will David Lehman follow him into pit road? The answer is no. Lehman carrying on. Ryan Tyler, though, does bring it to pit road.
I got my eyes on the race leader, Doug Buchanan. Fuel going into the car. I'm not seeing tires yet. Nope, no tires. As Buchanan makes a short stop. It looks like he might have short fueled it just enough to get to the end.
There comes Ryan Tyler into his pit stall as well. He gets the very end one, obviously, because he started on pole position. And it looks like he's just taking fuel as well, already revving up the engine, ready to go. And...
did that scare you?
Tires on Ryan Tyler. Tires on Ryan Tyler.
Ryan Tyler looking for more grip on that car. Now, he's got to be careful. He's coming out onto this track on cold tires. He's been in a rhythm all race long on those race tires that were up to temperature, and we saw at the beginning of this race, it took a couple of laps for these things to come in, so Ryan Tyler's going to need to tiptoe it for this out lap, and the next lap maybe after that.
Yeah. Alex Cornfield coming in for repairs and some fresh fuel, and I believe he might have took tyres there as well. That will actually no 17.505 in his stall, so that will not be tyres for him. Kyle Smith just coming out of pit road as well, but Nicholas Paletti still out on track in his Porsche right there. You gotta think that Nicholas Paletti, the longer he keeps it out on that track though, the more time he's going to lose here with the faster cars coming up behind him with well, possibly fresh tyres. I think if Cornfield took tyres there.
Well, yeah, but also they're going to be on. Well, he didn't take tires. Cornfield didn't take tires, so he's not going to have that cold tire issue on his outlap. If a guy pits behind you looking for the the overcut, he can keep that. You know, that first outlap, he's going to have to tiptoe it, so he's not going to get his full lap times till about 2 laps into his run when the tires come up to temp. So the older tires will still hold serve, but if someone behind you pit, you need to cover them off within the next lap or two.
What they do is we're looking at David Lehman right now. We're going to be seeing if he...
Here comes Paletti to the pit, so I'll keep my eyes on him for tires.
Okay, so we're watching David Lehman to see if he does bring it down to pit road, because he's the only one, I believe, out of the GTE. No, he's the only GTE driver still running that hasn't been down pit road yet. And he's going to be looking at that time and trying to manage it the best he can. He probably will get passed by Doug Buchanan, but he's got to keep that time up to Paul Skip, who did manage to stay ahead of Ryan Tyler despite the bad pit entry. But then again, Ryan Tyler did take those.
Quick pit stop for Nicholas Paletti, no tires.
Yeah, and he comes out of pit road. Where is Alex Cornfield? Just coming down the pit straight right there. So Paletti does get out ahead of Alex Cornfield. So now we have a potential battle for the lead here. Alex Malinowski and Aaron Clayball still not taking it to pit road yet.
I'm going to keep my eyes on Andrew Malinowski, because he does have to pit. He's got to be getting to the end of that fuel tank as pit cycles are going on. But you got to be wondering if he's not punching buttons, you know, just to put enough fuel in it to get him to the end. That would be the thing to do if he wants to short pit this thing. Don't take a full tank, just get enough to get there and skip the tires. We're going to find out here shortly.
David Lehman out in pit road from the lead now as he comes into pit road. 25 seconds on his time already. Will he take tires or will he just take fuel? We'll find out right about now. But he's already lost the lead to Doug Buchanan. Can he get out ahead of Paul Skip? That is the big question right now. Where is Paul Skip? He's coming down the pit straight right now as Lehman does get the jump on Paul Skip there. Great pit stop there for the well, potential championship leader.
Yep, I'm still keeping my eyes on Malinowski. He bypasses pit lane once again.
It does, and so does Aaron Clayball. And Doge Squad Racing looking for a good result here tonight. We've got Aaron Clayball and Nicholas Paletti, both second and third right now. Doge Squad Racing having a good night here tonight.
Yeah, not a bad showing for that team whatsoever. But I'm watching Malinowski, you know, and Clayball. It looks like that, you know, that Ferrari has got some great fuel mileage on it.
And it does. There's an interesting quote from Brad McCombs right now. That Doug's pit stop seemed too short. Now, I am looking at his pit times right here. 14.98 was the time he was in his pit stall. But David Lehman was only in his pit stall for 13.9 seconds. So Lehman had a much shorter pit stop than Buchanan. So I wonder, did they only just put enough in to make it to the end of the race?
Yeah, they had the calculators out, and they're working the engineers to the max on this. Just to, you know, only spending enough time on pit lane to put enough fuel in it to get them to the end. Hope their calculations worked out, because it came out tight. So we're going to see.
There's Antoine de Cache has had a problem. He's on the hauler, I believe. Antoine de Cache is out. Now, I'm not really sure why. We're about to find out why.
As Andrew Malinowski brings it into pit lane, and Aaron Claybaugh is following him in.
Yeah, we're just watching why Antoine de Cache made it retired from the race here. Oh wow, he just pulled it over and left. We're focused on Malinowski and Aaron
Now
Claybaugh.
you need to see where Nicholas Paletti is.
Well, Nicholas Paletti is already coming down the start-finish straight right now, and just as Malinowski and Claybaugh leave their pit stalls, Paletti is already back in the lead. Cornfield back up to second place now, and now we have a potential battle for the GT3 lead here as Cornfield runs wide, and Cornfield into the wall in a big way. That might be the end of the race for him. Wow.
Cornfield just got it way wide out there into the gravel, no traction, loops it around, smacks the wall on the other side. What a heartbreak for Alex Cornfield. What did we talk about, Sam? Mental stamina. Here we are in the very late stages of this race, and it just reaches mental stamina. Just, mental exhaustion reaches up and bites someone in the butt once again.
And that was a hard lick into the Armco barrier as well. And somehow Malinowski and Dave Ferrara are able to avoid him when he came back on the track. But from the penthouse to the outhouse, from the penthouse to the outhouse for Alex Cornfield, he had such a good run at the start of this race to get himself a good lead in the GT3 class. But it's all come undone for him now on his debut here tonight, down to P3. And when he takes it down pit road, probably going to drop even further.
Yeah, because I think...
Oh,
he loops it again.
He's gone round again.
Yeah, that car's not handling for him, and you got to wonder, did he use that fast repair earlier?
That train is completely derailed now, completely.
Nicholas Paletti has got to be sitting there going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But don't look now. Andrew Malinowski is not that far behind Nicholas Paletti. He can still see him.
Yep, about 8 seconds up the road. Claybaugh is in third. Now Carl Smith into P4. Cornfield still dropping spots here. He's down to P5 now. Zachary Nürnberger is going to be the next one to get around him if he can catch him. Now, we were speaking to Zachary Nürnberger before the broadcast started, Byron, and he predicted that he was going to finish 6th here tonight. Look where he is.
Yeah, well, he's going to pick up another position as Alex Cornfield brings it pit side for repairs.
I think it might be for retirement if he yeah, Cornfield just, he's already burned his fast repair, and this might be a race-ending pit stop for Cornfield. We'll keep an eye on it. But disaster there for him, and very much a heartbreaking situation for himself. As we go back to the GTE field right now. Not much going on right there. Doug Buchanan out to a 20-second lead over David Lehman right now. The two Canadians, 1 and 2 in class, with Paul Skip in third. Then you've got the pole sitter, Ryan Tyler, in P4. Terry Calgary Jr. inside the top 5 in P5, with Keith Roycroft in P6, Daniel Hingley in P7. The final GTE car that's running right now is Aaron Fulford. He's down in P8 with Nick Terrell. Actually, Nick Terrell is the final GTE car running. He's in P9. No, Tyler Langenberger's in P10. He's still running as well.
Yeah, Tyler Langenberger got bit by connection issues.
Yeah, he did.
Earlier.
And he's just got...
Now, what a heartbreak. I'm just sitting here feeling bad for Alex Cornfield on his debut here in this league. Showed that, as he's coming now out of pit road, showed that he had the car to beat at this track. And you know what? How many times have we said it, Sam, or I've said it? And people are getting tired of hearing me say it, and I'm not going to stop saying it. You don't have to be the fastest car out here, but you need to be the most consistent. And consistency pays off at the late stages when mental fatigue starts to show its itself and rear its ugly head, that's where consistency needs to show to pay off. We've seen it how many times when we do our 24-hour special events for iRacing, when we race at Daytona, which we are coming up in a couple of weeks, the late stages of the race, we could be running 5th in class, and mental, fatigue takes over on the cars in front of us, and if we just stay consistent, we can get podium and possible victory.
Well, that's part and parcel. That's partly why we won. Why our race team won Daytona back in August, is because we were second for a good portion of the final part of the race, and then the leader decided to just completely fall off, and we got the lead away from him and won amazingly. We've had an incident for David Lehman here, and he's cost himself some more time to Doug Buchanan as he goes wide through the final corner, and that's actually helped Paul Skip, because Skip is actually able to claw some time back on him as well, as there goes Aaron Fulford off the track.
Yeah, if you go back to GT3 class, the 3rd position, last step on the podium, is heating up. Kyle Smith is all over the back of Eric Clayball.
And he is, and we're right with him right there, and Keith Roycroft is probably looking behind us and saying, do I really want to force my way past these guys, because they are going to be right at it. And after his pit stop right there, Alex Cornfield, I can't speak, I promise, has fallen down to P13 in GT3, 1 lap down from GT3 leader Nicholas Paletti.
Yeah, I'm feeling bad for the guy. Wow. What a debut. And he's seen that, I can have the fast wheel around here. I can have the hot shoe, but things can happen quick, fast, and in a hurry, especially when you get towards the final stages of this thing, because we're coming up on 10 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, we're looking at the the top speed of these drivers here tonight. Amazingly, the fastest driver out there tonight was Patrick Ripley with 158 miles per hour. The fastest GT3 driver is Mark Thomas with 156 miles per hour. That's faster than about half of the GTE field. Yeah, well, it also goes to show, you need to put in some time on the track in practice. You can't just show up, we saw it happen with Ronnie Osborne. You just can't show up, with your muscle memory at the track without putting some time in sometime during the week and get some laps under your belt and get a feel for it, for the race conditions you're going to be in. Because, these tracks are completely different when we go from one track to the next track to the next track. Now, this track, highly technical, not a break in it. We're going to go to one, not a super high-speed track. We're going to go to one that's going to be a real high-speed track, very technical in points, and does give you a break to where your mind can start to slip. After you come out of Radion from Eau Rouge at Spa, you've got that long straight where you can kind of flex your fingers and take that break, but you better get your mind back in the game, because this next set of right, left, rights coming up can reach up and bite you. And then you get down to the one that I call, everyone, the official name is Poo On. I call it Poo Out. Yeah.
Tough corners.
I mean, you can tell it's his favorite track, right, folks?
When I can call the corners off, and I haven't even gotten to the wonderful feeling of being able to take, that high-speed left-hander before you get to the zip back to hairpins to the start-finish line again, and then being able to take Eau Rouge top out at fast speed when you hit that corner right. As a driver, there's no better feeling. Eau
Rouge is the little kink before you go up the hill, right?
Yep, and if you hit that at top end speed in that corner just right, as a driver, that's a great feeling.
Yeah, Radion is the right-hander going up to the left-hander up the hill. Oh, I apologise. It's like 20 minutes after 3 here in Ireland. You've got to forgive my tiredness. But anyway, I'm still interested in the racing, as we've still got this battle going on between Kyle Smith and Aaron Clayball, but there's an even closer battle behind them in GT3. That's Zachary Nürnberger versus his teammate Marcus Osborne.
Yeah, now you got to wonder how aggressive is Marcus Osborne going to get at trying to pass his teammate, not wanting to take his teammate out of the race, but also wanting to get another position for points on the board.
Yep, and Nürnberger already up one from where he's predicted to finish here tonight. He predicted P6. He's actually in P5.
If Marcus gets around him, he's going to, his prediction will hold true.
This is absolutely true as they go under the bridge. One of two bridges on this track, by the way, as the road course circumvents the oval circumvents the whole road course. And like I said, the oval is more well known to most people at Motegi, and I dare say we've been on the oval more times than we have the road course in our iRacing careers. I know I have.
Yes, I know I have.
And not very often we go to the road course, but this is the first time I've ever broadcasted on this road course, so it's a new experience for me. As Nürnberger's starting to leg it out against Osborne now, so Osborne's attack has come to a very premature end. As Oliver Rotniak now in a battle with Mark Thomas, two very fast drivers here.
Let me focus in on that. Yeah, Vorotniak right behind Mark Thomas. Is that a battle for position? Yes, it is. Looks like Mark Thomas got around Vorotniak.
It did. And Mark Thomas now is going to set his sights on Sean Crowley, who's literally only 1.7 seconds up the road. And Crowley having a very quiet race, to be perfectly honest. He was in a battle earlier on in this race and not really been in anything else since then, but might find himself in one very soon if Mark Thomas has his own way.
Well, if I'm reading my timing and scoring right, he gridded in the 28th position. He's moved himself up to 15th overall. That is a great under-the-radar advance through the field for one Sean Crowley.
It is. The American driving the Ferrari is 11. He's only 3 seconds off the back of Roger Shank as well, so not doing too badly at all as Marcus Osborne has closed back in on Zachary Nürnberger. Now, he might have a run on him here as they come down the straight. Opts to go to the outside. I think and Nürnberger didn't force him to the outside there. Osborne just opted for it.
Yeah, and, to me, watching this battle lap after lap, it looks to me as if the Ferrari is just a little more maneuverable on these slower speed corners than that BMW is. So he closed when we get to the sweeping corners or the slow speed corners, he sucks right up to him. But when we get to the faster corners, BMW has the power to leg it out.
You do know this battle is deciding whether we run BMW or Ferrari at Spa, right?
I'm telling you, we're running Ferrari at Spa. I've been wanting to go back to that Ferrari. I've bowed to everyone else's, let's do this car, let's do that car. No, let's stick to the Ferrari and just don't paint it purple or pink.
Yeah. Those are two.
Heck, we might even go back to a purple Ferrari and have better luck.
No.
Wow, Osborne is all over the back of Zachary Nürnberger through this section of the track.
It's going to be very interesting. Do they keep it civil between the two of them? Because then
we've only got a couple laps left in this thing.
We do. We're 1 hour and 36 minutes into it, and well, the GTE field is about as stretched out as you like. Doug Buchanan, barring any mental slips between now and the white flag, is looking to win this one. It's 26 seconds up the road from David Lehman, who I will admit has put on pretty good recovery drive after he had that massive off early in the early part of the race. So Lehman, very good to be up there. Paul Skip in third place. Ryan Tyler, probably the underachiever of the night, started on the pole and has just slipped back ever since.
Yeah, David Lehman putting on a great show, of stick-to-itiveness. A lot of guys we see in these things, when they have early adversity, they just say, I'm done. I can't do it. This ain't going to work for me. No, David Lehman has stuck with it and stuck with it and stuck with it and has worked his way back up the board to second place in class, you know, we're going to be talking to him after that one, after this one.
More problems for...
it was Marcus Osborne loses it.
Well, we were going to talk about Alex Cornfield as Marcus Osborne has had a off. Let's take a look and see what's happened to him.
The back end of that Ferrari just stepped out under power. Good, and took those tires.
Thankfully did not hit a thing there, so good for him to keep it going.
But that's allowed Roger Shank to get a whiff of him now.
Yeah, it has. Although Shank is still 4 seconds back, so if Osborne can keep the car underneath him, he will still get P6 here. Zachary Nürnberger will take a big sigh of relief. He'll hold on to that P5 for a bit longer anyway. And he is about... He's 25 seconds off the back of Kyle Smith. We've had an incident for Zach Purcell. He's had an off track here. Let's go back and see what's happened to him. I was mentioning more problems for Alex Cornfield before the incident for Marcus Osborne. He had another spin as well. So, again, mental fatigue starting to get in the way of a lot of people here tonight. Not as much as last week, but still enough to cause a few issues here as Doug Buchanan, I believe, is on his... well, I think he's on his penultimate lap here.
Yeah, you should be seeing a white flag coming around this time, if my timing is right. I don't have a good look at Barney the flag man.
I think he might have already collected the white flag because we're already 30 seconds left to go, and I don't think he's made it halfway through around the track yet. So this might be the white flag here. 4-1 Mr. Doug Buchanan, who's looking to pick up his first ever race win in Pony Express here tonight at the Twin Ring Motegi. And this is just judging by these first two rounds alone, this has proven to be the most open championship fight we've seen so far in this league's existence. As there goes Buchanan as we go past the 1 hour and 40 minute mark, so the checker flag will come out on this lap. Buchanan only has a few more corners to go in this race. The Mad Sim Racing driver comes up through the final few corners right now. Checker flag should be in the air, and it is. He comes through the final corner. Doug Buchanan wins at Twin Ring Motegi as the championship fight is on. David Lehman could only watch, but Lehman, crucially, will come away from tonight as the championship leader as he is coming up through the final corners now. Lehman will have to settle for second place here as he crosses the line. The night, though, in GT3 will belong to this man, Nicholas Paletti, who's on his final lap here, Byron.
Yeah, Nicholas Paletti, you know, he had, what a heartbreak moment for the race leader for the longest time, Alex Cornfield. But, you know, Nicholas, he's not going to turn this win down. He's not going to turn the trophy down. And Andrew Malinowski, what a drive from him to hold on to second place.
Now Malinowski's already crossed the line. He's already collected the checkered flag, but Paletti has not. This is pretty much a victory lap for the man in the number 56 machine. The Doge Squad race, and they're going to get first and third, but the most important thing for him tonight is that he gets that GT3 win, and he's got only a few more corners to go. He makes his way down the fake start finish straight and down towards the right-hander, which will take him under the second bridge right now. Up to left-hander.
Out wide.
Yeah. Up through these last few kinks, through the final corner, and Nicholas Paletti, for the first time ever, will win in GT3.
What a race, Sam. I mean, we had action all over this dang track. I mean, these guys put on, it never fails. Here we go again. 2 races in, 2 epic finishes, and, you know, excitement right down to the wire. It all happens in the last 15 minutes. We've seen someone's got a walk away win, and then all of a sudden mental fatigue bites them in the butt. Talking about Alex Cornfield, I mean, GT3 put on one heck of a show tonight.
Yep, tonight was all about GT3. GTE got spread out very quickly. As we're looking at Doug Buchanan, the race winner here tonight, gets the flashing lights out, and he's taking a down pit road, and understandably not going to do any burnouts here tonight. Nicholas Paletti, meanwhile, might. We'll take a look and see.
And what about that drive from David Lehman? You know, adversity early on in the race, said, I'm not giving up, and drives it back up through the field to claim second place in GTE.
Yeah, and he's going to be a man to watch this season, I'm pretty sure, as we are going to get the interviews underway. Unofficial results are up on the screen, by the way, so you can see who finished where. And joining me in the booth right now will be the race winner, Mr. Doug Buchanan. And Doug, it was pretty much a big battle for the start of you, but you come away tonight with your first race win of the season. You've got to be very happy right now.
Man, very tired and very happy. That was a lot of fun. It was a great race. Really excited to bring it home this time.
Yeah, and I believe this is your first race win in Endurance for Amateurs, so very special night for you tonight, picking up that first one. How difficult was it out there tonight? Obviously, probably not as difficult as last week, but definitely not easy out there, especially on, with it being dark out there.
Yeah, a lot of challenges. It's a tight track. There's not a lot of long straights. You know, you can probably see the difference in the two cars is not so great on a lot of the straights. So overtaking multi-class was really challenging. But you know what? It was really good. A lot of clean racing, and a lot of respect to everybody who was in the race tonight. They did a great job.
Yeah, and you showed a lot of great pace at the start of the race as well. You started a bit further back than you would have liked here tonight, but how surprised were you to actually get that lead away from Ryan Tyler early? Was that crucial to how your race was run here tonight? Get the pole sitter out the way and just keep focusing forward?
Yeah, definitely. It's a hard track to overtake, so you know I knew I just had to be patient. You know, I was hoping Ryan had a bit of nerves, which I guess I got lucky. He did. A couple of mistakes, although I had some mistakes also. That left-hander turn 3, I guess it is, gets me a lot. So I think he had the same issue, and I managed to take advantage of that. You just got to be so patient on this track.
Yeah, patience is key, and a lot of people falling by the wayside, but you still kept it out, and you pretty much dominated the end of that race. How difficult were the tyres out there? I saw some people changed tyres, but some people did not change tyres. I'm pretty sure, I don't think you took tyres, and some people in the chat were actually worried whether you took enough fuel out there. How difficult was it out there to be out there on those old tyres?
Yeah, the last probably 15 minutes, it started to get pretty rough. My left front was down to almost nothing. I think by the end it was getting pretty slow. I was lucky that I had a good lead by that point, and I knew it was better to take the track position and not take tires because it's such a hard track to pass. So lucky it worked out in my favor tonight.
Definitely did, and this really puts you in the championship fight from this week onwards. Obviously, this is now for the overall championship since the demise of the LMP2 class. Got to be feeling confident now with some more familiar tracks on the horizon.
I am, yeah. I mean, next week I think we go to Spa, which is I think one of, well, probably everybody's favorite tracks, but definitely one of mine. So I'm excited for that. Calendar looks really good coming up. It's going to be a fun season.
Absolutely. And speaking of Spa, obviously it's a fan favorite. It's a driver favorite. What are your thoughts heading into that one? Very much more about speed and technicality than it is about trying to get around drivers here than it was here at this track and at Canadian Tire. What are your thoughts heading into Spa next week?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's going to be a very different style of race. You know, track position won't be as important there because you could pass a lot longer straights and a lot wider open track. So it should be interesting. Yeah, I got a couple ideas of how to hopefully maximize my race, but we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Well, Doug, congratulations on picking up that first win of your Endurance for Amateur career. Before I let you go and celebrate, though, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me here. And I want to say hi to my niece, Bridget. I think she's watching me at home. So hi to Bridget. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Doug, go and get some rest, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you.
That was Doug Buchanan joining me from Victory Lane. Now joining Byron from second place is one that has taken over the overall championship lead. Wasn't expecting that one coming out of Canadian Tire, but he's here right now. That's David Lehman.
Mr. Lehman, man, we watched you on this track have some adversity early on, dropping a lot of spots, but my hat goes off to you where a lot of guys get frustrated and make a lot of mistakes. We watched you make an epic drive up through the field to claim that second spot. What's your thoughts on this race?
Yeah, I'm of two minds. I'm disappointed and a little frustrated that I got tapped on lap 2 or 3, but that's racing, and so it's early enough in the race. I know I still have 95 minutes of racing left to do, so put my head down and try and be as clean as I can, and happy to get on the podium.
Yeah, that we watched that happen. If you go back and see on the broadcast, from my perspective anyway, it looked like it was a bit of net code that got you, along with I think that was Bryce Anderson behind you hard on the binders. But yeah, it was a bit of net code that helped you out there, but you didn't bump that wall. You're able to keep it back out on the track and make an epic drive. This track, it looked like there was no chance to take a rest. It's a very technical track, hard to pass. How you feeling after this race? A little tired?
Yeah, a little tired, a little sweaty. I'll definitely be changing my shirt when I go upstairs after the race. Yeah, I know you're absolutely right. It's hard. It's even hard to pass the GT3 cars because there's not a lot of speed differential. So the passing oftentimes doesn't come on the straights. It comes in the corners, which sometimes is really awkward to do.
Yeah, well, we're leaving Japan, and we're going to bounce over to, Sam said it earlier, a spectator's favorite track, a driver's favorite track. We're going to Spa. It's a whole different animal of its own technical challenges, but you do get a little bit of a break in the long straights that they've got there. What's your thoughts heading into that one?
Looking forward to Spa. I a couple of years ago with 3 or 4 other guys did the 24-hour event there. So it's a track I spent lots of time at and real comfortable with. So looking forward to getting on to next week and having good battles. It seems like the GTE class is going to be real tight this year. It makes for exciting racing.
Well, you're sitting on top of the championships after the second race, but we got a lot of tracks to go to, a lot of different styles. Anyone you want to give a shout out to that helped you get here before we let you go celebrate your second place victory?
You guys are gonna get sick of hearing me say this. If I get on the podium, it's dedicate this to my girl, my wife Agatha. She's got dinner waiting for me upstairs. So as soon as I leave, I'm going to have some dinner. Thanks, guys.
Well, we never get sick about that, and we love the support that we get from our families that allow us the time to do this. I've got a wife at home that gives me the same support. If it wasn't for them allowing us to have this fun, we wouldn't be able to do it. David, congratulations on second place, man. Looking forward to seeing you next week at Spa.
Thanks, guys. Look forward to watching the broadcast. Cheers. Good night.
That's your second place finisher, everyone, Mr. David Lehman.
Yep, that was David Lehman. Now joining me from Victory Lane in GT3. We now have another first-time winner in this league, and that's one Mr. Nicholas Paletti. Now, Nicholas, second place for the most part here tonight, but it was one small mistake that helped you get up to the race win, but you showed a lot of pace here tonight to pick up that first ever race win here tonight. You've got to be very happy.
Oh yeah, thank you. It was really fun race. I was pushing to keep up with Alex all race, and all it took was one little mistake, and that's kind of how endurance races go. And we were still fighting there when he came in, got his fast repair. He was 2 seconds back, so we were still fighting there towards the end, and it was good fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, he made another mistake shortly after that and stuffed it in the wall again. But very unfortunate for him. But for you and your team, very much a very successful night. Yourself getting the win. Aaron coming home in third place as well. Doge Squad Racing sitting pretty at the top there tonight.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if we had team or constructors points, we'd be looking pretty good. Yeah, Aaron did a great job. He started P11 and worked his way the whole way through the field, and I think he killed his tires towards the end fighting through there. He might have even been able to get second, but yeah, this was a really good track, I think, for both of us, and yeah, we're looking forward to keep pushing each other.
Yeah, and obviously this race win will bring you into the championship fight as well now. Obviously you had a quiet race last week, but this week this one definitely brings you into it. Are you excited now? Do you feel like you got the confidence to keep it up there all season long?
Yeah, I mean, I was excited coming in last week and made a small mistake and ended my race last week. So it was feels really good to be able to come in here and take home a win because I think we're all aiming for the championship this season, and there's a lot of fast guys at the GT3. I think bringing in some of the guys from B last season and a few of the guys from GTE coming down. There's like I would say good 10 guys that could win pretty much any week, and it's just a lot of fun racing with these guys.
Yep, and the championship challenge continues next week as we head to a very familiar track to everybody in this league. We head to the famous Spa-Francorchamps track. What are your thoughts heading into that one? Do you reckon you can keep it going there?
I don't know. I'm not going to go in with high expectations. Something with me and Spa just has never clicked. Anytime I run like a GT car, I just am somewhat off the pace. So I think I'm gonna have to put a good bit of practice, and we'll see. But we got throwaway weeks for a reason, so we'll keep moving.
Absolutely. Well, Nick, picking up your first ever win here tonight. Very special night for yourself. So I'm going to leave the floor to you. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to? Who's responsible for bringing you to the victory lane here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Aaron Clayball, my teammate. We did a lot of practice this week, and it's great being able to push each other, and he's doing a great job. Shout out to you guys for the broadcasts; they're absolutely amazing, and the league for putting it on. This has been really really fun so far this season. And shout out to some of the guys that we were racing up there: Mark Thomas, Alex, Andrew. All those guys were super fast, and we were really pushing each other. So shout out to them as well.
All right. Well, one more time, Nicholas. Congratulations. Go and get yourself some rest, and we'll catch you next week when we head to Spa.
Thank you very much.
That was Nicholas Paletti, first time visitor to Victory Lane here tonight. Now joining Byron from second place is the man that finished second in only his second race in the league. That's one Mr. Andrew Malinowski.
Man, what an epic run you guys had in the GT3 class. I think we focused more in on you guys than we did anything else in this race. One heck of a show, man. What is your thoughts on racing here in Japan?
Oh, I love this course. It's nice and wide open so that there's not too tightness, not too much contact going on. It was good, clean racing. The second stint was ridiculous. I had Kyle Smith on my butt just the entire time. He was inside half a second. Then some GTE would come through and I'd have a second on him. I'm like, all right, cruise now. And then he'd look at my mirror and he's right back on there. But it was a great tight race the whole time. It was good times.
Yeah, watching this thing, we were seeing a guy that started this league, his first race out, debuting, Alex Cornfield, looked like he was putting his stamp on it. But, I keep saying it in the broadcast, how mental toughness, you got to have mental stamina in an endurance race. You got to be consistent. Don't need to be the fastest. And we saw that reach up and bite him in the last 10 minutes of the race. And you had some epic battles going on out there. Hard track to pass on, hard track to let the GTE cars get by you on. But we're moving to a whole nother animal coming up next week, and that's out to Spa. What's your thoughts there?
I'm one of the few people who's not a big Spa fan. I tend to be terrible and end up upside down somewhere doing 200 miles an hour on the roof. So hopefully
don't feel bad. I've done that myself.
Yeah, hopefully I could keep the rubber side down and end up with a decent result. I've been pretty good at just hanging around and waiting for things to happen at the end. So hopefully that goes well next week too.
Hell, I've been up on my roof in Pit Road before now in Spa, so you know.
Yeah, we did that during the 24, so. But we won't talk about that. That's probably one of the reasons we don't paint cars purple there anymore. But that is a favorite track of a lot of drivers, and we're looking forward to seeing what you can do with it. GT3 class, man, we had a lot of cars out there. We watched you work your way up through the field. Anyone you want to give a shout out to and a thank you for helping get you to the podium?
Mostly my wife Becca for letting me do these late night hijinks while she's sleeping, and my boys at Bad Sim Racing. They're always willing to help out and teach me some stuff. And my boy Roger Shank, past champion, so he's helping me out. So those guys and you guys, thanks a lot.
No, you know what? I've said it before. You guys make our job so much easier with the show that you put on here in this league. Congratulations on second place in GT3.
Thank you very much.
That's your second place driver in a GT3 class, everyone. The pilot of the 210 machine, Andrew Malinowski.
Yeah, and we're just going to get one more word in with another driver here right now, and I think we're going to have to introduce our very own Heartbreak of the Night award tonight. And Byron, you've got him with you right now. We're going to bring in Mr. Alex Cornfield now. Yeah, definitely Heartbreaker of the Night, and Byron, you're with him right now.
Yeah, Heartbreak of the Night award. You know, we watched you in your debut race here put on a show in the GT3 class. You put your stamp of authority on it, saying, I'm a force to be reckoned with. But during, you know, the previous seasons, and I've said it, you know, and everyone gets tired of hearing me say it, and I'm never going to stop saying it, you need to have that mental stamina. Was that just a mental error in the closing stages of the race that got you?
You know, yeah, I was just losing focus, man. They call it the dripping faucet, where you're not focused on what you're doing. You think about, you know, something at the house or something else, and I just wasn't in it. And so I came around the corner and got a little loose, and that was it. And then, you know, I was about 7 seconds up at that time, so I was like, okay, cool. I'll chase for another lap. I realized I was losing time. Came in, used my fast repair. I was like, all right, great. When Nick came out of his pit stop, he was 2 seconds ahead of me, and he dropped the hammer. He is so fast because I was pushing as hard as I could, and I wasn't gaining on him. I was like, I know he's got to be just driving so hard, and I was driving like Cruella de Vil, not the Stig. I was all over the place back there, and then just totaled the car. So Nick's awesome. He was a lot of fun to race with. It's like every time I would get a second on him, a GT3 car would come around and I'd lose a second, and man, there was a 4 second gap for, like, it felt like with the whole race. He was just right there. Everybody in the GT3 class towards the top was running fantastic. So Nick and Aaron and Austin and just all the guys there, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, this league has never failed to give us an amazing finish. And, you know, it was a heartbreak to see that happen because we were focused in on you. We saw the battle that was shaping up for the race victory there after the final pit stops. But we're moving on to a whole nother animal. I just want to say, you know, for a guy that made a debut in this thing, you put a stamp that said, hey, I am not going away. What's your thoughts going into Spa next week? How do you feel going into that? And are you going to be working on that mental focus?
Absolutely. I like Spa a lot. That's one of probably my top 5 favorite tracks. Like Motegi, this is the very first time I've ever raced there. I literally got that track today and just started running around and learning it. And so, and the nighttime, that kind of messes with you a little bit too. But Spa is a lot of fun. There's a lot of room for error on that track, and it's a lot of high speed. There's a lot of drafting, and it's, at the end of the day, that track is going to be a lot of fun to participate in. There's just a lot of opportunity for passing in a lot of spots. And so next week is going to be a blast. I look forward to it tremendously. And I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. It's a fantastic attraction for anybody watching. Like, you guys really knock it out of the park.
Well, you know, it's not us. I'm going to tell you right now. It is you guys. You guys, the show you put on and the action out on the track makes our job as a broadcaster so much easier. And I'll be honest with you, I look forward to Wednesday. A lot of guys saying, man, 2 hours of sitting here talking about cars going around the track, that gets boring. Not with you guys on the track. Looking forward to big things from you. We're going to focus in on you and see how you do the rest of this season, man. Welcome to Pony Express.
Well, thanks for having me. I love it. Quick shout out to my 2 daughters, Zoe and October. They're my biggest fans, and they always want me to have a shout out when Daddy's on YouTube. So now they can watch and listen. So thanks for having me, you guys, and you keep on broadcasting, and I'll keep on racing, and I enjoy it. So thanks for having me.
We got a feeling this won't be the last time we talk to you. We'll see you in victory lane sometime soon. Congratulations on your debut, man. Sorry for the heartbreak, but those are the breaks. That's racing, and we'll see you at Spa next week.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you.
Well, folks, that was the pilot of the number 11 car in the GT3 class. And oh my God, heartbreak of the night, Alex Cornfield.
Yeah, it was a heartbreak, and hopefully he can come back from that at Spa and get that result. He was so close to getting here tonight, and I'm sure it'll come to him very soon. But it's like you said, it's all about mental. It's all about mental endurance, not just physical endurance. It's not easy being out there, right, for such a long time.
No, it's not. People say, well, you're just on a simulator. You're just sitting in a seat, turning the steering wheel. No, you're not, folks. You are getting a mental workout. You heard it from the drivers in the post-race interview. They've got to go take showers. They've got to go change shirts. They're soaked in sweat. It's a tough thing to do, especially in an endurance race. You got to be consistent. Consistent is the way to do it. I mean, we tell our kids all those, tales of this tortoise and the hare. You just saw it tonight. What a great race, Sam.
Absolutely was, and we will look forward to more when we head to the absolutely epic Spa-Francorchamps track next week. But for now, let's get the results out the way and get ourselves wrapped up for this race as we bring you the results for tonight's race. I'm bringing home the victory overall, starting with GTE, was Doug Buchanan. A great drive from him, bringing it to victory lane for the first time in his Endurance for Amateurs career. In second place was David Lehman, taking over the championship lead. Paul Skip rounds out your podium in that class. Ryan Tyler in P4, Terry Calgar Jr. in P5, Keith Roycroft in P6, Daniel Hingley on his debut, P7, Aaron Fulford, a very eventful night for him, in P8, P9 going to Nick Terrell, Tyler Langenberg, Patrick Ripley, Bryce Anderson, Paul Boyle, Atticus Middleton, and Ronnie Osmer, all on the hauler in GTE, Byron.
Yeah, GT3, they put on one heck of a show. There was the most of the cars out there. Nicholas Paletti, he brings it home in victory lane, first victory for him in this league. Andrew Malinowski, what a showing from him. He gets second place. Aaron Clabaugh finishes third. Kyle Smith fourth. And rounding out your top five is Zachary Nuremberger. Marcus Osborne brings her home in the sixth position, followed by Sean Crowley in seventh, Roger Shank in eighth, Mark Thomas bringing it home ninth. We saw him and Oleg Vorotniak, battling it back and forth. Oleg Vorotniak brings her home in the 10th position. The rest of the field falls out like this. Tony Watson, Zach Purcell, Alex Cornfield, heartbreak of the night. You heard from him earlier. Carlos Ramos, Dave Ferrara, Adam Dahl, Aiden Svoboda, Dan Coleman, help me out with this one, Antoine DeCash. Okay, I'm going to remember that, DeCash. He does not need to kick me in the ding-ding. I'll remember DeCash. Nick Brown, and for bringing shotgun on the field, Chris Lawson.
Yeah, and that is going to be it for us here tonight. Don't forget, we'll be back on Monday night. Myself and JR Kopp will be in the booth for the third round of the Open Wheel for Amateur Series as we head to the very tight and twisty Tsukuba circuit for right here on Pony Express Sim Racing. But that is going to do it for us here tonight on this channel. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell when we are live again. But for now, from myself, Sam Cooper Bennett, and from my broadcast partner, Mr. Byron Rodney, here on Pony Express Sim Racing, all that's left for me to say is keep it clean, keep it green. We will catch you live Monday night for more racing action. Do not go anywhere. We'll see you then.